Welcome back, everybody. This is King Kong 9100, and as promised, we're going to talk about quite a handful of things. Firstly, we're going to talk about, of course, the Godzilla vs. Kong CCXP footage, all 2 seconds of it. And then we'll discuss a theory I have regarding GvK Kingdom Kong and the monster within that story, Camazotz. I hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado,
let's get started.
So, first thing on the agenda is talking about what was the talk of the town a couple weeks ago, the Godzilla vs. Kong CCXP footage. Now, of course, I'm always late on the news, but yeah, it isn't really much to cover here. It's just 2 seconds of new footage, but let's talk about it. At first, we see Godzilla swimming underwater as he unleashes a roar, and this leads me to believe that he is attacking something. And this is because we never really see Godzilla roaring underwater like this unless he is attacking something. So that brings us to our next second of footage, King Kong. We see King Kong on what looks to be the aircraft carrier, and he also seems to be roaring at something. Another thing to note is that Kong has a chain around his neck. So I saw someone talk about how Kong is in a city, but this simply isn't true. I mean, look at the background. These are the same boats and the same overall sunset setting that we saw on the Playmates box artwork a couple months ago. Now, I knew that it was too high quality to be made just for the Playmates boxes, since usually toy boxes have, like, you know, the polished kaiju model in front of backgrounds that are way less polished. But here you see like the explosions and the water effects all being combined together. Like, it would be way too much effort for a background box artwork. So I think that this is definitely the same scene, but what about the chain? Well, to answer that, we need to get into this new theory I have. So let's quickly discuss what I think leads Godzilla and Kong to end up where they did in this footage. So I have a couple videos on the channel discussing the theories I have on how I think the story will go. Links are going to be in the description below, since those are topics that would take far too long to cover right here and now. But to very quickly recap, I think that Kong has been constantly fighting Titans who are invading his island. We know Titans are being attracted to Skull Island, and whether this is because of a, spoiler alert, but a certain mechanical Titan, or because of the potent radiation pockets on the island, Titans are being attracted to Skull Island. I mean, maybe even Godzilla's Alpha Call caused this, or Ghidorah's. I mean, I would want it to be Godzilla's Alpha Call because it would make Kong look pretty stupid if he was mad at Godzilla because of Ghidorah's Alpha Call. So, I would hope that it's Godzilla's Alpha Call that causes all the Titans to go to Skull Island. But I believe that whatever it is, the events of King of the Monsters are leading Kong to constantly fight Titans throughout the beginning of the GvK film. He'll somehow stumble upon the aircraft carrier, and after defeating a couple Titans, he will just pass out from sheer exhaustion. Whoever is running that aircraft carrier will do their best to chain Kong down. They'll chain Kong's neck and arms, and Kong will then wake up shortly after, showing that he's got insane stamina levels. As for what he's roaring at, well, I think Godzilla had just arrived, standing up on the aircraft carrier across from Kong. Just like how we saw in that footage from like last year, Kong roars at him and he would effortlessly break free of his chains, and then I think that they would engage in their first battle. Now, I'm sure that this is going to carry on to Skull Island. Well, I'm hoping it does at least. But before that, I think the aircraft carrier is going to break and the two monsters are going to fall into the water. And that is where I think the Godzilla footage comes into play, where we see Godzilla underwater swimming to attack Kong. I don't think that this is going to automatically be it for Kong and the battle would be over right here and then. Like, I think Kong would at least make it out and go to the island, and he would probably get the idea right then and there that he cannot mess with Godzilla when underwater. But yeah, everyone, to quickly sum up, I think Kong has been constantly fighting Titans on his island. He passes out due to sheer exhaustion on the aircraft carrier, the humans chain Kong up, hoping that those massive chains can actually hold him down, and then Godzilla approaches. Godzilla boards the ship, Kong wakes up and breaks free of the chains effortlessly, and the two fight on the aircraft carrier, which starts to sink. After a massive battle, the ship breaks in half, and Kong and Godzilla fight in the water. It's intense, and that is where we see the Godzilla footage come into play. Eventually, Kong makes it out and goes to Skull Island, or the battle just carries out to Skull Island. The chain isn't going to be a mind control device. I don't think Godzilla has a hole in his shoulder like people are claiming, it's just lighting. But that is my basic analysis on this new 2 seconds of footage. So what else is there to talk about? Well, remember the Camazotz video I referenced earlier? Basically, I had a theory that Camazotz is able to drive creatures insane through a mere gaze, and that might aid in the plot of the GvK Kingdom Kong graphic novel. Like I said, check the link out to that video because it is definitely one of my better ones in terms of just new ideas I came up with on the spot one day. Anyways, it's just a theory, but I started looking at the Icarus tiger that attacks Kong in the preview shots, and it really got me thinking. Why would this thing attack Kong, who is 3 times larger? And just why is the Icarus tiger so big? Well, I've come up with new theories as to why this is. Take my hand, babies, come walk with me. I first want to give my idea on why I think this Icarus tiger is so big. From what we know, there's a Japanese creature profile for the Icarus tiger which states it usually is around 14 feet tall. Since we know Kong will be roughly 350 feet tall, why on earth is this Icarus tiger in the preview so much more bigger than just 14 feet tall? Good question. My theory is that this thing has been chilling in the hollow earth and it's been absorbing radiation constantly like Kong has. That's what causes it to go from 14 feet tall to around 100 feet tall. It makes sense because the skull crawlers are being cleared out by Kong and the island is becoming relatively clearer for the innocent lives of the island to live in peace. This is what may lead the Icarus tiger to go into the hollow earth more often, causing him to absorb radiation continuously, growing to 100 feet tall. And this brings me to a new theory I have. When creatures go into the hollow earth and absorb radiation, it's able to increase their weight drastically. And this may connect to why Kong will become much more heavier in GvK. He starts going into the hollow earth more to absorb radiation and hunt down skull crawlers. This may also make the tiger 1,000 tons or 5,000 tons, and it would explain why Kong was only 158 tons in Kong Skull Island, and how he'll eventually become around 60,000 tons or 80,000 tons. Because Kong started venturing into the hollow earth more after Kong Skull Island, he's been absorbing radiation and has been getting much heavier and much larger. The Icarus tiger, being around 14 feet tall typically, probably grew to 100 plus feet tall and the radiation made him much heavier. So there's something I think could work in adding some nice continuity between Kong's weight discrepancy issue we have at the moment with Kong being so light in Kong Skull Island. We went over why the Icarus tiger may be so big. Now why the hell is he attacking Kong? Well, like I said, I think the Icarus tiger was driven insane by Camazotz. After going into the hollow earth so often, he eventually comes across Camazotz, and merely gazing upon him drives the non-alpha tiger insane. Maybe the tiger was attacking the humans, and Kong stepped in to save the innocent. Now the tiger, of course, was insane, so it attacks Kong, who retaliates. I mean, the sheer size difference alone shows it would be outright suicide. And I think even Kong is smart enough to know that. So this may further prove my theory on Camazotz driving this tiger insane, because of the tiger's motives being fogged by his insanity. But there is one more thing that may prove this theory. Look closely at this panel. Okay, let's zoom in on the tiger. Let's pull up a Camazotz panel alongside it. Do you guys notice anything similar here? The Icarus tiger and Camazotz look to have those same exact, absolutely psychotic eyes. So this may further prove Camazotz drove this thing insane. Look, is it a stretch? Absolutely. But does this theory of Camazotz driving beings insane kinda make sense? I don't know. Things are starting to add up in my eyes. But you guys let me know. Do you like this theory? Does it hold up? And would you want to see something different? Write down in the comments below, and let's continue with one last topic. One last thing I wanted to talk about is the issue going on with Legendary and Warner Bros. Now, I don't usually talk about these kinds of things, but I really do have a strong opinion on it. When should the film be released, and when should the trailer be released? For anyone who doesn't know, Warner Bros. Basically decided to release their movies as dual hybrid releases. What that means is films will be released on both HBO Max's streaming service and in theaters. Except, there's a fucking global pandemic going on. This means films will most likely do poorly in the box office when it comes to the theatrical releases. A lot of theaters are closed down, and if you get it on streaming, it will immediately go straight to pirating services, and people will buy one subscription, yet multiple people will be watching the film. That's like if I bought one ticket and had 4 other friends coming along with me to watch it. They come in scot-free, and the film would lose money for that. Netflix allegedly offered to buy the distribution rights for $200 million, so the film would automatically make its budget back. But it would still need to make at least another $200 to $400 million to actually be a success and not underperform. But yeah, Warner Bros. Didn't tell their partners that they would release the film this way, and they are screwing everybody who worked so hard on these films over. That's where the controversy comes in. And here's an update we just got after I already wrote the script, but it turns out Legendary is looking for a payment of $250 million in order to keep Godzilla vs. Kong as this hybrid release on both HBO Max and theatrical. It is definitely better than the Netflix deal, but hopefully the film can still make money after that initial payment. If it can make another $250 to $400+ million, it would be a success despite all of the insane odds going against it. This means other film competition as well as the global pandemic hindering its performance. I honestly think that if it makes that much money, Legendary would make another MonsterVerse film when times are back to normal. If the film is able to break through all of the noise of today and do good, they definitely should continue the MonsterVerse. Now, I personally see that the way the film can succeed is if it gets a theatrical release after the COVID pandemic is over. But if Legendary really does get $250 million just to keep the hybrid HBO Max and theatrical release plan, that would mean the film would need to make around $250 to $400 million rather than originally trying to make that $500 to $600 plus million profit. So, in the current situation we're all in, I think that second option is Legendary's best bet. And you guys never know, maybe Legendary can take the Netflix deal of $200 million while also receiving $250 million from Warner Bros. That is an automatic win for Legendary, but I strongly doubt that would be able to happen since those companies may want to be the only ones distributing GvK. So that wraps up that segment. I now want to talk about how I would market the film. Say COVID is out of the picture. How do you market a film this big? Simple. First, you need to make sure the film is actually good. I've discussed how I would do the film. There are two versions of how I would do it, both working with spoilers and entirely on my own terms. Both of those hypothetical films have a ton of action scenes that would look well made. I'm gonna assume the same for actual GvK, so here is how you make this film a success. You make sure you release a first trailer 4 months before release. Reveal very little, but give people a lot to talk about. Throw in no more than 3 TV spots from 4 months till release to 1 month till release. You then release a second trailer about a month before release, and then include 2 more TV spots and ads to hype people up. Make sure toys don't spoil every little thing. Now, this marketing technique is something I guarantee would ensure success. Again, if you were to take COVID out of the picture, this would totally work. One of the major reasons Godzilla King of the Monsters underperformed is because it not only started marketing way too early, but that it also spoiled so much. The film started marketing 8 months before release. 8 freaking months! Hype peaked for that film and then dwindled off by the time it was released. Audiences aren't that stupid. Things spread quickly and hype builds up fast now. It's a new world we live in, and this is the way to do it. Audiences won't forget if it's 4 months. Hype will peak, but there's not enough time to have it dwindle off by the time 4 months finish, because 4 months will fly by like that, no problem. So if the film started marketing 4 months in, very vaguely with 1 trailer and a second trailer 1 month in, throw in a couple TV spots that do not reveal very much, the film would definitely succeed. If marketed correctly this way and proper hype is built up, this film can definitely reach $1 billion at the box office. It has everything going against it right now, what with COVID and then the Warner Bros situation, but things are looking up. COVID vaccines are being issued and this whole pandemic should be over very soon, and hopefully we finally get our movie. In the meantime, let's just all hope to God that this film succeeds. And that is going to be it from me, everybody. Just a small, quick video giving my thoughts on the current news of the MonsterVerse, as well as a couple theories I had. So please go ahead and give me your thoughts on everything, Do you guys like the theories I had? What do you guys think about the CCXP footage? What would you guys like to see in a trailer? What do you think about the marketing strategy I was using? Go ahead and let me know about everything you think about in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you all in the next video. Until next time, bye-bye.